Welcome to LaQuita's Toolbox, where we deliver relevant content in the form of tools that empower entrepreneurs to elevate personally and professionally. Good is only good until greater is envisioned. You know there's another level in you. Here we discuss the tools to get you there. Lean in as LaQuita and her guests present you with strategies and insight for unlocking your full potential to realize your boldest.
Welcome back to another amazing episode of LaQuita's Toolbox. I am your host, LaQuita Monley. Y'all, I am so excited today. I know my regulars like, LaQuita, you always excited. When are you not excited? That's rarely, because I be excited in my sleep, y'all, but I'm for real. I am excited today because I have two absolutely amazing women of God in the studio with me today, Miss Weslia and Miss Willa. They gonna be dropping gems. Y'all already know the deal. Get something to write with and something to write on, because y'all know people pen and paper don't forget, but we do. Get ready to take some of these copious notes. I'm trying to tell y'all. I met these fabulous ladies because we're part of another mastermind type group together. And I thank God for that group, because I've been able to be blessed by a lot of people to help not only my brand and my podcast grow, but just personal growth and development. But before I bring Weslia and Willa in, let's take a moment to thank our sponsors at Covenant Press. Covenant Press is a faith-based Christian and apparel company where we as believers are able to shop online for clothing and accessories that allow us to wear the message of the love of Jesus Christ. Go out to www.covenant-press.com. Again, that's www.covenant-press.com. Shop until you drop, but don't click off of those pop-ups too quick, because they contain valuable codes. When applied properly at checkout, you can receive discounts and savings through your purchase at Covenant Press. Listen, ladies, y'all, I ain't gonna say come on in the room because you already in the room.
Yes.
Welcome to the Toolbox. Welcome to the Toolbox. Let's see who we want to go first. Let's start with Miss Willa. Miss Willa, go on and let us know who you are and where you're from.
Hey, I'm Willa Williams, affectionately known as your financial auntie. That's who I am.
Come on, auntie, come through.
A lot of people ask, where does that name come from? Your financial auntie. I have a lot. I wish I could show you my hands. They're expanding as wide as this room. That many nieces. And I love each and every one of them. And nephews too, guys. Nephews too. But sometimes they want to talk to their auntie about finances and not necessarily mama or daddy. Because auntie, she's not going to be judgmental. She's going to tell them like it is. And if I see, when I see their mom or their dad or getting on them, I just go right along with the mom and dad. Then later go back and say, now, you shouldn't have did that to me. But I can't let the niece and nephew do that. So I have to make sure that they understand it's good to come to your auntie. And so that's where my handle of the financial auntie comes from. But I'm Willa Williams and truly love the Lord. Truly, truly love him and love being able to share financial knowledge and wisdom with the universe. All my little sisters and brothers love to do that.
So
that's who I am.
I'm gonna be your new adopted niece.
Oh, you're gonna join. You are joining so many other adoptees, but that's okay. Erase the adopted part. You could just be a niece.
Oh, see, that's what I'm talking about.
There you
Come
go,
on, auntie. We can talk. You gonna talk? I'm gonna listen. Because audience, y'all know I take notes when we doing this for real.
All right,
I take notes. All right, y'all. Y'all have met Auntie Willa Williams, your financial coach. Come on through, Miss Weslia. Talk about it.
Hello, I'm so glad to be here. I'm so glad to be here. Will is your financial auntie, and I'm your financial big sister.
There you go.
And so as your financial big sister, I am also here to just kind of tell you like it is and kind of guide you along the way and with no shame, no judgment. I'm your financial big sister because a lot of the people that I coach are just that. They're like they're my younger version. They're the younger version of me. And I wish that I had some of the guidance, wisdom, and knowledge at that age when I was 10, 15, 20 years younger that I have now. And so to be positioned to be able to help them gain that financial knowledge and walk their unique path for financial fulfillment, I'm just so glad to do that. So I am your financial big sister. And just like the auntie, sisters talk.
Come on now.
Sisters talk. Sisters know stuff, and it, like Willa said, it don't get to mommy and daddy, but sisters talk and we come together and we can work it out.
Mm-hmm.
Sisters can come together and work out a problem and resolve it.
Yeah. Without mom and
Before
dad.
mama and daddy even know anything about it. You know what I'm saying? So
When you said that, it the scene that popped in my head was a scene from the Cosby Show when Vanessa got drunk.
Yep.
We had to go get her.
Yes. So we have been we are referred to that by our clients a lot. You're just like my auntie, or you remind me so much of my sister as we are engaging with them. And so it just stuck. And so that's who we are. We're your financial big sister and your financial auntie.
Listen, y'all, we have our financial auntie. We have our financial big sister in the house. I know y'all better be somewhere with something to write with and something. But peradventure, you are not. Just turn the podcast up a little bit louder. Sometimes you have to either turn it up loud to focus good or turn it down low to see where you're going. I don't know why that is. But turn this up high so you can focus on what they're about to say, because they are about to drop some gems. But before we get into the gems, though, let everyone know right now how they can learn more from their financial big sister and their financial auntie, because you guys have an amazing podcast as well. Let's talk about that. So y'all make sure y'all hit those notification bells and like and subscribe, not just to the Toolbox, but you're also going to like and subscribe to, and what's the name of your podcast?
Wealth and Wisdom Together with Weslia and Willa.
Mm-hmm.
Available on all major podcast platforms.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Y'all want to download that.
Yes, you do. You do. We it's a weekly podcast where we drop gems. The goal of the podcast is to help you to walk in your steward identity as you discover your unique path to financial fulfillment.
Now,
and
see
so,
what you said, that steward identity, like that wasn't something we're gonna talk about.
I just need y'all to understand, like, why we do what we do, because so the word tells us in Ecclesiastes 7:11 and 12 that wealth and wisdom work well together, right? So it says that it's good to have wisdom along with an inheritance, because it gives a clear advantage to those who see the sun. For together, wisdom and money are alike in this. They both offer protection from life's misfortunes, but the real advantage of knowledge is this: wisdom alone preserves the lives of those who have it. So our goal is to make sure that you are walking in the divine wisdom that God has provided for you to attain financial fulfillment. And we say fulfillment because everybody's doing financial freedom. We get it. Financial independence, financial freedom. But there are people who reach that and they're not fulfilled. They're not happy. Right. They have torn relationships. They have deteriorated themselves mentally. They've done all the things to get the wealth, but the wisdom is understanding that, is it fulfilling? Is it what God called you to do? Do you still have your joy, health, healthy relationships?
Yes.
So when we walk in our steward identity, there's a process that we go through to make sure that we're going to attain financial fulfillment, that we're going to get this wealth with the wisdom, so that we stay centered and aligned.
I love that.
I just to add to what Wes said is our paths are individual. They're individual to us from God. And so we have attained the wealth, but in order to enjoy that path, enjoy life now, continue to build wealth and reach financial fulfillment, you need the wisdom. And so many of our clients will come to us and, I have the resources, but I just don't know what to do now. I'm not fulfilled. I'm working, I'm grinding, I'm doing, and it's just, I don't know what it's for, but we have to help coach them to begin to see and understand, and attain the wisdom that they need to reach the fulfillment, identifying their personal path and reaching out and strengthening their relationship with God so that they can get on that path and enjoy the wealth that they've attained. See, that's our goal.
Yes, I love that. Listen, y'all, we barely a little over 10 and a half minutes into the podcast. Like, I'm tracking that time, right? But they have already dropped some amazing tools. So I hope y'all have written it down. Wealth and wisdom, biblical principles. We understand from the scripture, wisdom is the principal thing. And without it, we lack understanding. Without it, we lack the ability to advance and to grow. Because knowing it is knowledge. Knowing what to do with the knowledge you have to cause it to produce for you is wisdom. So I hope y'all writing that down. And then your steward identity. Come on, we're going to break that down. Not all the way down because y'all need to connect it. But we're going to give y'all enough to be greedy, right? We're going to give y'all enough to be greedy. But, and then even what Miss Willa was like, your own individual path. I love that so much because oftentimes when we think we've carved out a path or laid out a path, what we fail to realize is how much outside noise has influenced the decisions that we've made to create this path. And then when you get there, you reach the destination or you're on your way to the destination, and my pockets may be overflowing, but I am so unhappy. Let's not even use the word happy because happy is based off of happenstance. I ain't got no joy.
Right.
I'm not broke, but I ain't got no joy.
Right. And then it's for some people, the hiccups that they're experiencing along the way is because that wasn't your path. That wasn't the way that God wants you to come into your wealth. That isn't the way that you're wired for wealth.
Come on.
So, it's like shiny object syndrome. So I want to try all the things. And I don't speak against any of the various ways that we can gain wealth. God has given us the ability to create wealth. So that means that is an abundant, that is an infinite, the ideas, the witty conventions, all of that is going to come to us. But what's yours? And oftentimes we try to mimic and copy what someone else is doing to reach a certain goal, but we haven't sat down to identify what it is for us. And then in some instances, like for me personally, on my path, although I had, I became a financial advisor. So let me back up so just a little bit more about my path.
Okay.
As Willa mentioned that we had separate paths that got us to the same place. I got my dream job as a financial advisor. I was so excited to be able to get this job working. I was going to be a stockbroker for a major securities firm. And it was shortly after the birth of my second daughter. She was 2 months old and she was diagnosed with a condition called failure to thrive. And so that is going to the doctor, trying to figure out what's going on with her because she cannot keep the food in her stomach and she is not getting nourished. And so she ended up being in a hospital for a month. After test, after test, after test, she's in the hospital for a month. I have this job. And fortunately, my manager was like, I know you can't be in the office. I need you to deal with what's going on with your daughter, but you have to pass your Series 7 on the first try. So I had a time frame with which to pass my Series 7, and I had to pass it on the first try or I was going to lose my job. So with our support system, I'm studying, we're doing all of these things. And she gets beyond that. And I'm so excited she gets beyond that. And so we're trying to keep the balance between, what's going on with her so that my 2-year-old that was at home her life isn't, torn upside down because mommy and daddy's putting so much time on the baby girl, right? So we move forward. They're in school, they're toddlers. I'm working, I'm doing the thing. My husband starts his business. My husband owns an IT staffing company. He starts his business. I'm in the financial services, and that's entrepreneurship because, that's commission driven based and you got to find clients. And so you're working just like a business owner. So I'm working, barely getting the latchkey by 6, dropping them off at 8, barely getting the latchkey by 6, come home. And now you're trying to get them in bed by 8. You feel me? You're trying to get them into bed by 8, and then you got to turn around and do that all over again. I'm like, this is really not what I envisioned as a mother and how be raising my children. Because I grew up in a single mother, single parent home. My mother was a single, so she had to do all the things, and I know a lot of what I did because I knew she couldn't be there.
We're gonna leave it like that.
We're gonna leave that right there because I'm renewed. I'm transformed.
What you do, see?
But do you hear what I'm saying? I'm trying to do all the things. So I prayed. I said, God, what? I don't like this. I don't like how I feel. This is not what I had envisioned. But I need you to speak to me and let me know what to do. And so he created a exit for me. He created an outing from an ability for me to have a job that gives me the flexibility that I needed. It was half my salary, but it gave me the flexibility that I needed. But then I had to trust God and what he was doing. And I had to be accountable to what I prayed for.
Come on.
So I had to surrender to him. I had to trust him. I had to earnestly seek him all along the path as I was making this transition. And then I had to be accountable to the prayer. And then after that, I had to walk in wisdom and obedience. So my husband and I had to do all the things that we needed to do for us to make that adjustment with my salary being less and not feel like we were going to miss anything.
Yeah. Oh my.
Right?
Oh my.
Yes.
So I had to step into my role and responsibility of what I prayed for. And this is what I wanted to do. And I needed to be able to do it regardless of what was going on around me. I needed to stay on my path.
Come on.
My path did not look like everybody else's, but at the time we were still succeeding financially and growing and earning more, doing less and earning more. And you had to trust God to know that we would be able to earn more by doing less. How that happened? Only God does that.
Yes.
Come on.
And then you have to stay diligent so that you can, again, make sure that all the things around you are operating as God would have you so that you could stay on your path for financial freedom and fulfillment. And that's what we did. And that's what led me on my path. Like my path is different than somebody else's path.
Yeah.
And the things that we chose to build our wealth, it's a little bit different than what some people have chosen. Yeah, we have investments and things like that, but we also have alternative investments that we invest in, like that have value that some people might not do in other ways in entrepreneurship, And so, and my path was different than Willa's path.
Yeah.
But if you could hear the steward identity, you walking in that steward identity is making sure that you remember, you don't own nothing, God does.
Come on. Yeah.
And so how are we going to manage with confidence the money and the resources that God has given us? How are we going to live with purpose? And then how are we going to build wealth intentionally? And that's what I had to learn to do in that process. Doing less, but earning more, and then making sure that I'm maximizing it as God would have me. Because we got to manage and multiply it. It ain't just about managing.
Oh, say that again.
Manage and multiply. That's our responsibility. So
listen, y'all. She done dropped a whole testimony in about 5-6 gems. I'm lying with the 5 or 6. It was more than that. That's just a number that rolled out my mouth when she said what she said. I'm thinking like, my God, did you write a book? You need a book. You need a book. I'm just saying, a workbook.
That's the second time somebody said that this week.
Well,
this in less than 10 hours,
says the Lord, right?
Hey.
So here, listen, sis, because that your testimony is unique to you. your blueprint, your footprint for you and your family, and what you guys consider success is unique to you guys.
That's
and
right.
the path that God said do, you
Absolutely.
had to trust the process. And
Absolutely.
trusting the process, you got to your desired end.
Yeah.
Like,
You got to trust God, trust yourself, and trust the
And
process.
trust the
You
process.
act like you've been on our website, girl.
hey, come on.
No, but seriously, and then too. So let me tell you. So that was when my daughter was an infant. My daughter is 27.
All right.
My oldest
Come on.
is 29.
Come
Mhm.
on.
They're dual degree.
Come
They
on.
don't. I'm an empty nester.
Come
They're
on.
doing their thing.
Ain't it
They grown.
wonderful?
They whole grown.
Come
So
on. Ain't it
again,
wonderful?
that's the other side of that. So
Come-
so it started there, but we walked that thing all the way through, and like you said, trusting God and the trusting the process.
Yeah.
And then you got to trust yourself. That was a hard decision to make.
Yes.
Ooh,
It was
come
a
on now.
hard decision.
Oh, that's
So,
real, because when God is saying do A, B, C, and D, and I'm looking
Mm.
at my situation, and I'm looking at my capability, yes, I can do all things through Christ who strengthened me. And I'm like, Lord, you want to strengthen me. Forget what Paul said. Strengthen me every moment of
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yes, yes.
Look, I want to go out there and do this right here, Lord, because stuff will happen. What's going to happen?
Mhm.
Oh,
But you have
yeah.
to trust in the God in you. If he
That's
trusted
right.
me and my husband with this plan and telling us this is the way
Yes.
to what he has determined success for us,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm trusting him, then I gotta trust me. But we oftentimes don't trust ourselves to do
Mm-hmm.
the thing that God says to do, and
That's right.
understanding that mistakes will happen,
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
hiccups gonna happen.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
But if I'm trusting him and I'm trusting him in me, then he already knew the hiccups was gonna happen anyway. Now, what's my
That's right. That's right. As a
response?
child of God, you
Yeah.
already know he's not going to go back on his word.
Come
That's
on
right.
now. It
So you
shall
have
not
to,
return into him void.
yeah, you got to
It's gonna
walk in it. There are so many ways. That's Wes's story. Let me share a little bit about my story, because our past were different
Mm,
getting to where we are, but we bless God for those individual paths. Now, for me, when I started out, we had a two-parent household initially. We ended up with a one-parent household. My parents split, and it was so traumatic for me. I made a decision that I am never going to be in a position where I would be left with all the bills, really have to pay my way through where I'm going to live, no money. I'm not, the breadwinner walks out the house. What am I supposed to do? So I told God, I ain't going to be there nowhere. And I went on my trek about doing that. I learned everything I could about finance and housing, and how to have somewhere to live and how to make money and do all that. But it wasn't fulfilling, and it definitely wasn't rewarding. I eventually had to surrender, and I surrendered to the Lord. And when I did, he gave me a husband who be was very patient with me, because when you surrender, you ain't always all the way in.
you better talk
Because
about
I'm
it.
still like,
You
well,
better
okay, well, I can do that. I can still. So my husband, he was just sitting there like, I don't know what's wrong with this girl, but she gonna be all right one day. So he was patient. But once I really began to surrender and trust the Lord for what he was telling us to do, we had gone through our own business. We had a rental property business. We both worked our own full-time jobs. So he put us on a route to prosperity, and to be able to access the things that he wanted for us, trusting in him, really being prayerful. We had to. I know I had to. I'm like, Father, you gonna have to help me, because this is not easy. I can't do this on my own. I need you. So really walking that out, seeing what he wanted for us and then walking it out was what I really needed to do. But I also had to be accountable. I had to be accountable to what he was telling me. Now, Willa, you can't be sliding over there talking about you living in the dispensation of grace and God gonna forget. No, get yourself on back over here and do what I told you to do. And loving him, you want to do that. And knowing that you yourself you're a child of God and you have responsibilities. And so I just continue to do that, to trust him, trust myself, making sure that he could trust me also, and to trust the process. And it just made me continue to, like you said earlier about happiness, forget about happiness. It made me be able to be diligent in seeking to walk in the joy and the peace of the Lord. That was the only way to do it. And my husband and I were successful in our business. We have both retired from our full-time corporate jobs. I've been retired for 14 years now. But I retired to be able to do this. This is to share the route, to share the pathway, to share that it's okay to have your own unique pathway. You don't have to seek after what the Joneses got, and definitely not the way they got it. I've always said that when I see something that someone has, I pray for them and say, God, thank you that they have that. But it tells me that it's attainable. And then if it is for me, the Lord will show me the route that I need to take in order to get that. Everything ain't for me. But whatever he has ordained for me, he has not taken from me. And I have prayed and really been strengthened in order to get it and to understand that once I got it, many times it's there for me to be a conduit to share it with somebody else. It ain't always all for me. It is for me to share. And so we've done that. So, being a young person, a teenager, a young married, newlyweds, and not really having a financial mentor, that's the other reason why we call ourselves your financial auntie and financial big sister. That is one thing that Weslia and I have in common, in that nobody was there teaching us these things when we were trying to build. Nobody. We don't want that to be the case for those out there who are looking for someone to do that. Now, we are here to help teach you and guide you on how to build right now, how to build on your individual path that God has ordained for you to reach your financial fulfillment.
Listen, y'all, I'm about to shout up in here.
Don't do
it. Run around. Listen, I keep telling myself that I got to get my son to program the claps. My recorder, I don't ever think about it until I'm in here and need the clap. I need a hallelujah button and everything.
Don't forget amen now. Y'all give me some amens up in here.
Amen. All that in here because, oh my gosh, your stories are so uniquely different, your journeys.
Yeah.
But the constant is it required faith, it required obedience, and it required wisdom, but most importantly, it required submission.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Absolutely.
You both had to submit to the will of the Father.
Mm-hmm.
Had to submit to the will of the Father. Willa, you submitted to the will of the Father, and your man came.
Lori,
single women.
Lori, still here, girl.
There were Beyonce. All the single ladies, listen. That's no marriage tip for today. She didn't say nothing about her life was in shambles. It was probably well organized, well-oiled machine, financially and otherwise. But the part that she was missing and needing and wanting, amazing. Because I didn't hear you say you was looking for him.
No, because my goal was to make sure that when one came, or if one ever came, they could walk on out and be fine. Won't bother me because I had mine together. I had
Came and
experienced
got
it
out
with my
when
Do
you
what you
parents.
gotta do.
Hey, I wasn't gonna do it. When you gonna leave?
What Fantasia said, go ahead and free yourself.
That's it. That was it right there.
Oh, I think it was Bishop Bonner that says, promote them to their destiny.
Yes, 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 yes.
Yeah.
Bye.
Yeah.
I can't breathe. Wait.
Mhm.
And,
That's
I
hilarious.
wish y'all could see the face she made because she was real
Girl.
serious. But
But it's and our unique paths brought us together because we were members of the same church.
Mhm.
And so and we were actually charged with leading stewardship efforts at our church. And so we're teaching stewardship and we're teaching, and it's like, yeah, pay your tithe and make sure you do that off the top and make sure you all the things. All the things. And I don't regret none of that. But then when you teach that and you teach it over and over and over again, and people are still
they don't get
not fulfilled and they're still not on their path.
it. Mm-hmm.
So then they start to question, well, what's wrong with God? What's wrong with this? What's wrong with that? And then they start looking and say, well, then now the pastor's doing this and the pastor's doing that. And that's not that. That's not that.
Come
And
on.
so I
now.
do agree that we do have a responsibility not only to talk about the generosity that is part of our character as Christians and as a steward, but we do also have to talk about and give the tools and the skills for members to manage and multiply.
See, right here, I got some pastor friends that's gonna come from wherever they at to hold you to. Come
But
on
it's
now.
the truth. It's
It's
so
a blessing.
true. Because the body needs to know that there's nothing wrong with abundance, because that's why Christ died, so that we can have life and have it more abundantly. And then there's nothing also wrong with wealth, and there's nothing wrong with riches.
Come on.
There's absolutely nothing wrong with it. But what happens is when we start loving those things and finding security in those things
above him.
Yes.
Above him. When you're walking in your steward identity, that don't happen.
See, that right
that
there.
doesn't happen, because walking in your steward identity keeps you centered. It keeps God first. It keeps you seeking his righteousness. It keeps you thinking him.
Can I say this? You're right. My little short experience in church finance taught me a couple of things. One, most churches are broke. Because the second thing is only 2 to 5% of people faithfully tithe and give. Like them two separate things.
That's true.
Less than 2%. I don't care how big your church is. And with that little money coming, I used to be getting the water bill out the mail and the light bill. My God, let's pray on this. The offering wasn't but that. And this is how we gonna make it. But if people don't get it, because all we know is when we go into the building, the lights work, the air works, the heat works, and if you are the type of ministry that has a fellowship hall that's active, when I need my little snack in between services or for my children, because I'm a super saint, so I open the door and I close it, but I bring them children with me, so it better be something back there in the daycare. And if the church ain't got a daycare, then we ain't coming. And all of this stuff just supposed to work because the Lord practices. He provides miracles. He does. But stewardship, like your stewardship mindset, your stewardship model. Yes. I believe, and this is my experience. I don't know about y'all. My experience is people are lazy in that they don't want the discipline of stewardship. What they want is the Lord to rain manna and pigeons from heaven. But they forgot he gave a set of instructions on how Israel had to still go out there and gather that stuff.
Yes.
They still had to work. And we think that I'm not diminishing any of the principles of prayer because I'm only here today because of them. Because I
yeah.
serve a miracle working God. But stewardship matters. He wouldn't have it so much in the scripture if it didn't matter.
So really, if you really dig into Matthew 25,
come on, let's talk about it.
because if you really start, there are two stories. Is I love the story about the 10 virgins. Willa know, because Willa breaks that thing down.
Come on, come on. You said
But
you're not a man, but is you ready?
But I love the story of the parable of the talent.
Yeah.
So when you said we can just pray, so when a master left and he gave 1 5, he gave 1 2, he gave 1 1, he gave them the talent according
to their ability.
Yep. Come on. That's right.
So that means that everybody has something different.
Yep.
So God could know that you have the capacity for the 1 talent, but you still keep trying to do 5, and that's why you can't get your 1 to do what it's supposed to do.
Come on now. Come on now.
So let's recognize the fact that everybody's not going to be everybody's path is not going to be the same. But we have the same assignment.
Come on.
And the assignment was when he came back, when the master came back and he said, well, what did you do with what I gave you? The one that had 5 said, you know what? You gave me 5 and I got 5 more.
He doubled that.
The one that had 2 said, you gave me 2. I got 2 more.
He doubled that.
The assignment was the same. Take whatever I have given you. Take whatever I have, the resources I have provided for you, and I want you to increase it. I want you to manage it, and I want you to increase it. The one that had 1, he said, well, what do you have? And he said, I knew you to be a shrewd master. I knew that, like if you came back and I didn't have this, and I just hid it. And the master was like, and the master said, you could have at least taken it to the bank.
You could have got me some interest or something.
You could have.
And if you really knew me, then you really knew I wanted you to
like you
manage.
You know.
Yeah.
I as a young believer, I would read over that and hear, sermons on that and thinking to myself, God, you real rude about it though. Like,
but here's this.
When I have nothing. He just had.
Why you gonna take it from him?
Why you take it from him and give it to the one with the most? And that was because my lazy, undisciplined mindset. Let's just be real. My lazy, undisciplined mindset did not understand, even though we talking about it, we shouting about it, and we amening it. Lord, whatever you need me to do, I'll do it. No, I didn't mean that. I work for the money. I didn't mean that.
Yeah. When I researched it, a talent is a lifetime of wages. 1 talent was a lifetime of wages. So the one that had 5, he got 5 lifetime
of wages.
The one that got 10. So the master said, I'm giving you everything that you're gonna need in your life.
And you ain't do nothing with it.
And you ain't do nothing with it.
Hey, come on. LaQuita's listening to that a lifetime.
Yeah.
And study it out. Study it with a talent's worth.
Come on.
Yeah.
Come on.
It makes me, as you're talking about that, Wes, it makes me think of 2 other stories. The 10 virgins, of course. God is providing you things. Are you preparing to be ready when he shows up? Are you storehousing? The word talks about storehousing, putting a little aside so that when he calls on you to do something, you going to do it? Will you be able to do it? And as we served in the positions of I was over the finance team. Wes was our finance officer. And so we could see what came in those envelopes. But we had eyes on what walked in that door. And some things didn't quite look equal. If you had this, that, and the other, now I know why this is all you got left for the church. Now I understand why. But it wasn't up to us to judge. We just tried to encourage. And try not to judge it
Mhm.
and show in the word how being obedient to what God says, yes, he will provide
He
you with
will provide.
everything you need. When I
Mm.
think again about those versions and I think about how some prepared,
Mhm.
well,
Because they
some
already
didn't.
knew. It wasn't like they were caught by surprise. They
They knew
knew.
what their purpose was. They were going to meet the king. He was coming.
Yes.
They wanted to be ready.
Yes.
So they well, we don't quite know how long, so we're gonna take a little extra.
Mm.
And so how dare you, you five, how dare you
Mm.
ask me
For
for
mine.
some of mine? No,
Mm.
listen, I sacrificed, I worked, I storehouse, I did whatever
Mhm.
it was I needed to do to make sure that I was gonna be there. I
Mhm.
would not lose my post. Going on back, going on back
Mhm.
and get you some.
Mhm.
Going on back to the post. But you miss out when you're not obedient
Come on.
to what God tells you to do up front.
Come
So
on.
often we miss out
Mhm.
because we don't heed and trust him
Yes.
and do what he tells us to do up front.
Come on.
And like you said, some people might think that that was mean. Well, how come y'all didn't share? Well, that was God's plan.
Come on.
That was his plan.
That was his.
It was his way of getting his principles across.
Yes.
Obedience leads to your fulfillment.
For sure it does.
It
Mm.
truly does.
The Saturday, this past Sunday night, I met with a gentleman who has some particular insurance products. And I met with him and my parents because my parents, my dad will be 70 on the 5th.
Mm,
And there's some additional products that he needs outside of what
Mhm.
he has through his retirement uh, from his job
Mhm.
and Medicaid, Medicare,
mhm,
because he don't qualify for Medicaid because
mhm,
he got a retirement.
Mhm.
mhm,
Mhm.
I complain about them people later, but we're looking at these products. My mom is not quite retirement age. Well, anyway, the conversation went over into stewardship and what the products were going to cost and how we were going to make sure that they had everything that they needed at the price that they could afford. And so, as we got to talking about stewardship, I shared with them, with the agent, how the Lord blessed us through stewardship. Because remember, I told you when I heard this story, I had a problem with it. It hurt my heart, hurt my feelings. It made me mad every time we went through it because I didn't completely get it. And I was one of those people also too, let's be full transparency, because I'm dotting the I's across the T's, Lord, why you just ain't boom, making it happen, boom, making it happen. So for a long time, my husband wasn't a tither, so we couldn't tithe. He was a giver because he is very, if this don't add up in the budget, this ain't happening. And I'm not doing this until this add up in the budget. I'm a fly by the seat of the pants kind of like, no, if we do it, darling, the Lord is going to provide. And he just looking at me sideways. Oh, this is what we're going to give this month in offering.
Yeah.
This is no. So he gets to a place and he realizes the principle. We're 5 children strong. And when he got it, I didn't have a job. When I was talking about it, I still had income coming in. We done moved to the other side of the planet. Like we went across the Atlantic into England. But somehow, by the grace of God, and it's not even somehow, when we made up in our mind, he was like, okay, we're going to become 100% tithers and 100% givers. So this means, and we're less in income because I can't work no more. Ain't no job for me. We're going to do this. What it made us do, it changed my mindset. It
mhm.
changed his mindset. We
Yeah.
had to learn what stewardship really meant
Yeah.
because now we living off of the 80 of one income instead of the 80 of two incomes.
Mhm.
And because we buckled down on the stewardship,
Mhm.
we paid off 2 mortgages,
Mhm.
got out of credit card debt, and helped to take care of my mother-in-law until the Lord called her home, and to take
Mhm.
care of my grandmother. off of the one income.
Mm-hmm.
The income didn't change. He's in the army, and until you get promoted, it's the same. We don't.
I got a question for you.
Yeah.
During that time, did you feel lack at all?
No, not at all.
That's
I was
it.
living my best life in Europe. We were always
Listen, y'all.
doing
Yeah.
something, because what your girl wasn't gonna do was have the army sponsoring me to be an expat somewhere else. I done been hither, thither, and everywhere. Okay.
That's it. That's it.
The very first time we were able to take our family to Disney.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't go to Disney in Florida. We went to Euro Disney in Paris.
Listen.
For 7 nights, and we stayed in the park. I didn't have to get the budget hotel. Ain't nothing wrong, people of God. We're getting the budget hotel out.
That's right. That's right.
Wherever you are on your journey.
Wherever you at in your journey. But at that point in our life and in our marriage,
yeah,
we were better with the one income. And we were paying his mama's mortgage, my grandmother's mortgage, child support. And we still had the children in our house, living in an economy where the value of their money was greater than the value of mine.
And you know why? You said you talked about how you grabbed hold of what that stewardship meant to you.
I had to.
Mm-hmm.
That's what provided the alignment and the focus, so that you could stay on your path.
Yes.
Because if you were looking beyond that, it's all of those other things that would have brought in discontentment. Those are the things that will make you feel like, I should be able to do X, Y, Z. Or I want to do this, that, and the other thing. Mm-hmm. But because you were so focused on your path and you were trusting what God was doing for you, it was good. You were fulfilled. It was good. You were fulfilled, and you were content, and you were able to see the more than enough.
Yes. Yes.
You were able to experience the more than enough because you did not have anything that was pulling you or speaking against it.
Come on.
Or showing you don't have enough. You're really lacking in this area. And we forget that's what the enemy wants. The enemy does not want us to know that we have abundance. Yes. And if we can't get to the point where we can be content and understand what we're working with, like you said, you got a budget. Yeah, I got a budget. And your budget isn't to be restricting. Your budget is to help you create that container of contentment.
Come on.
Yes. While you are walking the path, journeying on the path to the more than enough. It might not seem like it's more than enough at the time, but you keep journeying and you keep trusting God. And you keep your focus. You'll be on the other side, just like you said, like, well, how did we get here? And that's how it felt for us. It was like, wait a minute.
And that's what's different.
The kids college is paid for because we was doing the
yeah.
You know, the this is taken care of because the house is paid for.
Yes.
House is paid for, cars paid for.
Yes.
Because we never went beyond. See, there are things in life that have you live beyond your means.
That part.
That's the difference.
That's it right there.
That's the difference. You are walking your individual path and not the path that others thought you ought to be walking.
Because
not the path that you looking at some saying, maybe that's what I need to be doing. No, you surrendered and you were walking. You were living out your steward identity.
Absolutely. Because I promise you somebody was going to tell you, well, you paying your mom and your grandmama's mortgage. That's not your responsibility. Somebody wanted to tell you that.
To tell, like what TD Jake says, I will step out of the spirit for severity.
No, but I'm just saying there are things that just like somebody will easily want to tell a Christian, don't pay your tithes. But that's what you value. And that's the other thing.
Get that part.
The other thing that keeps you on the path and keeps you focused is that you know that your money is aligned with your values.
That part.
That whatever paying for your mom's mortgage, your grandmama's mortgage, whatever that meant for you.
Important. Yeah.
It was important for you. And
without them, there would be no me. Without my mother-in-law, there would be no Ben. And I love my sister drop.
Yeah. And as a financial coach, we're not going we try to take the time to understand what it is that you value.
Yes.
What is it that you value? And now, is your money aligned with what you value? Because that could bring discontentment too. Because it's you doing this, but that's not what you put your money on the things that you value, because then you'll feel that level of contentment and it'll keep that joy, because it's a part of who you are. It's a part of what you do. It's a part of your belief system.
Yes. You're so right. Because looking in that, we have been married a long time. But by the time we got to England, my youngest was in the 2nd grade. And our youngest was in the 2nd grade, and our oldest was in the 9th grade. And we had never been to the place where we had 3 months of his income saved up, 3 months of his gross income saved up. It was like every time something happened, we had to blow a hole in it. By the time we left England, and we were there 2.5 years, by the time we left England in those 2.5 years to transition to go to spend the next 5.5 years in Germany, not only did we have 3 months of his income saved up, we had more. By the time we left Germany, we had 6 months of his income saved.
All right.
Still living my best life.
Yeah.
Like, you know, they was like, okay, when you retire, you might miss 1 or 2 months or something, right? Oh, we good. We good. We good. And we had 2 in college. Praise the name of the Lord. We good.
Yeah.
Like we are so good. And the answer is our mindset changed. And because the mindset changed, the way we responded to everything changed. The way we prioritized everything changed. So we were able to take, like, by the time we got to Germany, I was able to work. Oh, then that was just gravy on top.
Yes.
That was, that was gravy on top. But when my mindset changed and his mindset changed and we came into an agreement, we were in alignment, the income didn't change. And we were like at a place of repentance for a minute, because God, we always had what we needed. We were just very poor stewards.
Yeah.
Because this right here, our mindset was wrong. So we didn't even know we were bad stewards. We sitting in y'all financial class, rolling our eyes deeply to the back, like looking at the back of my cranium, because y'all don't understand what I'm going through. And I don't know why this keeps happening to me. Yes, I understand demonic assignments and all that, but the demonic assignment was us.
And that is true. That happens.
Yeah,
that's right.
It was our poor spending.
Yeah.
It was our
Well, you
poor
see how
decision making.
God didn't change.
No, he
You
didn't.
changed.
I changed.
Your path was already set.
Yeah.
But when your mindset changed, not only your mindset, but you and your husband came in alignment to that path.
Yes.
That's the first step, girl. That's the first step.
Important step. Important step. Listen, important step. That stewardship. But that experience is what makes me think the way that I think about why so many people in the body of Christ struggle financially. Yeah. Now, we still do have some folks that believe that, poor is humble and that's where the Lord wants. I don't even know why y'all believe that, but that's your business. But more by and large,
why did he say
that's a whole nother episode.
Yeah.
Like we could do a whole episode on that.
Yeah.
I ain't no theologian or nothing, but even in the Torah, all of the men of God that he used, the men of God. I promise you, if Moses left and took all of his servants and all of their families and all of this, when he went to the wilderness, he wasn't broke.
I'm
just saying, if Abraham took all of his people and his wife and Lot and all of his people, they weren't broke.
And Jesus wasn't poor.
He wasn't.
How could Jesus be poor if he is the Son of God and God is the creator of everything?
His daddy was a carpenter.
how he chose to live
Was on him.
was on him, and he was walking his path
in alignment with the assignment his father gave him.
that his father gave him.
Yes.
But so to look at him and say, that's why you can't judge people. You can't, I can't listen. There's some people that walk around because they want to look rich and they want to look like they got it and they don't. And if that's you, okay, that's you, and you're gonna come to a point where you're gonna figure out how you're gonna come to a crossroad with that. But then there are people who you'll look at and be like, they ain't got nothing. You thought all the way wrong. Again, people are living their life as purposed by God, and they are walking the path that is for them. There are people who like luxury items. There are people who don't. There are people, because again, what do you value?
Yeah.
Yes.
That's what's important.
If Jesus didn't value designer sandals, you can't sit up here and say that he was poor and he was broke, because Jesus was never broke. And his circumstance of his birth was the circumstance of his birth and how God ordained that for him to come to us. But that did not mean that Jesus, and it didn't say that they couldn't afford a room.
It did not.
There was no room.
That's right. That's right.
It wasn't that they couldn't get a room.
I'm just saying, if the Lord could give Joseph a dream and say, you better run to Egypt, buddy, he didn't get there for free. He didn't get there for free.
So I think there's a lot of
his wife and his child there, and have somewhere to pay for the stay when he got there.
Yeah, we know now how Christianity and a word. Well, we've always seen how Christianity and the word can be used to weaponize.
Very much, very much.
But unfortunately, I think culturally in the church, we've used the word to justify poverty.
Come on, that's real good.
Yeah,
we've justified why we are in this state, and
that's episode number 3. We're gonna talk about that.
We didn't, and again, and I'm not talking about name it, claim it, prosperity gospel. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about just knowing that you have the capability, the ability, the capacity of whatever God has put in you, and if you walk it out, you can get to a end.
Yes.
Now, if you don't want to walk it out, then you're gonna be stuck. You will be stuck.
Come on.
If you don't want to transform your mind, if you don't want to think like him and walk the path that he is showing you and do the things that he's telling you to do, walk in wisdom and obedience, then yeah, you will be stuck. And I think we as a church, we shouldn't use the word, like you said, being poverty is humble and doing that association. I think we did a disservice.
Absolutely.
On the come up. To some. So now that when you have people that are understanding it and saying, hey, no, this is you, then it gets a little twisted, but in people's minds, but no, it's not. It's not. And so walk your path.
Yes.
Yeah.
Be a steward. Know that you are a steward. Know that that is a responsibility that you have to manage and multiply.
Yes.
And God is going to uniquely show you how he wants you to do it.
How he wants, yes.
Absolutely. And you know what? In that walking it out, you have to do it unashamedly.
Yes.
Don't be ashamed.
Don't be ashamed.
If God said this is the way you're supposed to go, then go that way.
Do that.
Yes. You don't have to have designer sandals.
Come on.
You don't have to have the top line model of anything. Whatever God has ordained for you and whatever is okay for you.
That part.
It doesn't have to be. I think in terms of my car is a 2007. I love my car.
I'm right there with you.
Love it.
2008. What I love is I have no bondage to a car note.
Thank you. And for so many years.
But it's still, but let me clarify, Willa, because you trying to play it down. She got a 2007 Mercedes Benz, but the fact is that no, and the only reason why I wanted to bring that is because it's still what she wanted.
It's what
She got it how she wanted to get it. It's paid for.
Yes.
She's driving that thing.
You know, it's been paid for 10 years. And people come up to me, what year is that car? Because you know, that wonderful husband of mine, that man, he keeps that car
immaculate.
Yes.
Come on,
Yes.
let's talk
When it
about
has a need, it's taken care of. It doesn't cost us anything. And it looks like a Maybach, to tell you the truth. I mean, that's what it looks like, but it's my car. But if it were a Chevrolet, if it were one of these little SUV, little bitty teeny little things, it would still be okay.
Yeah.
If I wanted another car, there's no desire for that.
Come on.
But if I wanted it.
Right. And she got what she wanted.
If it ain't
what I want.
I ain't paying for it.
Thank you.
If it ain't appreciating in value, I ain't paying for it. I got a problem with that.
Girl. But you know, you should not be ashamed if you're doing what God has told you to do. If it's a season of frugality, when you want to say no, then say no. Don't mean you can't afford it.
Come on.
It just means that I don't need that right now. I got my mind set on something else. Something else is more valuable to me. There's another goal that I'm gonna save for. But you know, you're right. And as we begin to speak, we just go on. And I'm like, okay, episode number 4. Okay,
right.
I better stop.
Y'all just know LaQuita's Toolbox audience. They're gonna be back a lot. How about that?
Hey, we'll be the financial advisors for the
that's right.
For the LaQuita's Toolbox. You know how they had the segments where we're like, we're gonna have a financial work. Just call us. We here.
Yeah, so if they have questions,
Weslia and Willa, come on.
When your listeners have questions about finance, just let her know. She'll get with us. We can handle it.
We gonna send them
absolutely. Yeah, send her the questions.
That's right.
We'll answer them.
Y'all hear that? Send the questions.
If you have
at LaQuitaMonley.com. Send the questions.
There you
go.
And
we're gonna have the episodes for you. Because listen, like so much that you unpack right there. I remember when we bought our first apartment complex. My husband had been deployed several times at this point, and they were back, and we was taking his soldiers and their families out to lunch, and everybody pulling up in these new big cars, big trucks and SUVs and all of this. And at that point, we had a 99 Suburban that was paid off. And then a friend of his had this little old, I don't even remember the year model of the Mitsubishi, but it was a Mitsubishi Mirage, girl. And I could sit in the front seat literally, and you could touch the back seat. The thing looked like it should just die, but it ran, and that was his work car. And we had been saving because we knew we wanted to buy either a duplex, or where we are, we call them a fourplex. It was a 4 units. We knew we wanted to buy one of them. And at that time, I had stopped working because we also knew we were getting ready to move. And we got these 5 kids. My husband is an E6 for the military people. He's an E6 with 5 kids and child support. So we had to have some money to show that we could hold that thing up for 3 to 6 months. And one day, we at this lunch, one of his soldiers who had just bought a house and had that car, the new car. So of course they were teasing him, and he was like, "This gotta give." And I said, "You know what?" We were in the process of closing. So we couldn't make one move. And I was like, when you drive up in your little Mirage, or we're in our truck, we're driving up to something that has more value and it's going to continue. Yes, we bought it in the crash. This was like 07, 08, and the market was crashing. But the benefits we got for buying it when the market was crashing, because the builder wanted it off his books. They paid our mortgage for 6 months. And it was already 4 tenants in it. So it was already in the black when we bought it. Because God is faithful.
Glory.
He is faithful. Like when we pull up into that, because the plan was to move out of where we were and to move into the unit as soon as one was available. What this is doing is For us, it was the discipline. Because you get mad when you the boss and your stuff is raggedy and all your subordinates.
You don't have to tell me that.
Come on.
I lived that life.
Come on.
That was our business. We had rental property. I remember when I told my husband, well, I'm not buying carpet for nobody else until we get some.
Be mad about it. We had to replace some refrigerators a couple of weeks ago.
Thank you.
Like, I need a new ice maker, but we got to put them fridges in them units. Fridges in them units,
girl.
And that's just the enemy.
Mm-hmm.
When it all came out in the wash, of course, thank the Lord that we did what we did.
Mm-hmm.
And that taught me a lesson. Like, I don't give two rats. As long as that car can get me from A to B, I don't care how it look. I'd have pulled up to the region. I'd have pulled into the embassy, and I pulled into a lot of stuff.
That's it.
And be like, park that.
Absolutely.
Get my bags. This is my room. Like, we done already checked in before I got there. I'm going to relax hard because the fact that I ain't paying some of these people paying $1,000 a month for a car. Now, who gonna do that?
Or more. Yeah. That's right. That's right.
For like 7-8 years.
That's
and
right.
after you done put down a significant deposit. I mean, a significant down payment.
Yeah.
Like, nah, we ain't finna do that. If that car can't make me no money, why I got a note on it? My husband was doing, oh Lord, not slingshot, but what is it called that he does when they do the short hauls? What is that called? Can't even think about it. It's like he's not a big rig trucker. We don't have people to do that.
Oh, okay.
We had to get some dualies and some
Yes,
I know the name of it. When we first looked at them things, y'all, them trucks was, by the time we got everything together, and it was over $100,000. I thought to take me now, but it make me money.
But it make you money.
But it make me money. So
again,
I will pay for that.
Right. It's the mindset of knowing that how it can bring in income.
That's right.
And how the asset can grow.
Yeah.
Yes.
And so, but that's also part of the mindset shift and how you look at your money.
Yeah.
Think about it differently.
Like, that's the mindset shift and how you have to look at your money.
Yeah.
And so it's just, and it's based upon it's based upon you.
Mm-hmm. It really is.
And you have to be okay with it. You take me back to when I was a field inspector and I had mileage. I would get mileage for driving and doing my inspections. I bought a car. It was $400 cash. Here's the car. It was okay when I first got it. After a while, it started to smoke if you went over 25 miles an hour. Now, in the area where I worked, metropolitan Detroit area, it was like everything was by freeway, but I knew the streets.
Mm-hmm.
I learned every last one of them streets. I drove that car. It wasn't banged up or anything. It would just smoke. I drove that car everywhere I needed to go, did my route every day. And every month I got my mileage check. And it paid for that car over and over and over again. And I was fine. I just didn't go past 25.
Come on.
So I was okay. It's
what we gotta do.
It's a mindset and the things that you think are important. It was important to me to work and do my job. It wasn't important to me to go out and get transportation that was going to cost me more than I was bringing in. That wasn't what I wanted.
Right.
I wanted to be safe and to work a vehicle that was going to bring me what I needed. And that's what I did. Again, unashamed of it.
Yeah.
Just moved on. I was like, thank you, Father.
When we had that little Mitsubishi Mirage, because it was a gas saver. This was, like I said, it was in the crash, so gas prices was stupid. I left that Suburban parked whenever possible.
Oh yeah,
absolutely. If we weren't going somewhere with all 5 of them and both of us, but like, babe, we're going to dinner, we're going to lunch, we're going to do this or whatever. Yep. In that Mirage.
Yeah.
We're not going to church in the Mirage. Well, we going to church. If my parents got the kids, Why we moving that Suburban? It's $1 million to
That's it.
fill it up. We
Yeah.
going in this Mirage, man. And it was like what you said, Willa. It wasn't nothing wrong with it. Was ours was ugly on the outside. It was ugly. I didn't care. And it
It
was
wasn't
rolled
important.
first. It wasn't. I
It
had to
gave
make an
the
emergency trip.
function that you were looking for.
There you
It
go.
gave you that function.
We had to make
Yeah.
an emergency trip to Mississippi. And I was the one that had to make the trip to go pick up my stepson. My husband was still here with all of the kids, so I left him the Suburban. He's like, "You gonna go rent a car?" Nope. It cost me $25 to fill up this Mirage. And the AC work. I'll see y'all in 2 days. He was like, "Are
That's
you
what I'm
serious?"
talking about.
Because it didn't even cost me $100 then.
See?
$100 filled up the tank of this.
Walking your individual path
Your unique
that God had ordained for you
Ordained.
uniquely. Yes. Yeah.
That's why I love the stewardship
Yeah.
principle that you guys teach. Like that is a blessing. Y'all, LaQuita's Toolbox, this is not the last time you're gonna hear from Weslia and Willa. I'm gonna figure out a way to make this segment a regular because really, because that mindset is what hinders a lot of new entrepreneurs.
Yeah.
It hinders a lot of new entrepreneurs.
Yeah.
I understand bootstrapping your business is not ideal, but if I have to bootstrap my business and that's the only way, I better learn how to live tighter with what I'm working in my regular job in order to keep the discipline going
Right.
so that
Yeah.
I can get to the place where my side hustle is making the money. That takes a whole different mindset. I can't quit. I can't give up. It don't look good now. Where can I tighten this? Where can I tighten that? Oh my God, I'm overwhelmed. These people said I need a VA. These people said I need to get this coaching program. This people said I need to do this, that, and the third. A dollar better make 50, 15 cents better make $1 or something because I ain't got it. So, but how can I still work my business like that mindset? You can and you will
Yeah.
if you have the right mindset.
If you have the right mindset.
Yeah.
And
It's
really
seasons, just seasons of time.
at the ta-
Ecclesiastics tells us that. It's
Right.
just for a season.
that's a
Yeah.
season of frugality that is gonna get you that's again a part of your pathway.
Yeah.
It's a season of frugality that's a part of your pathway. And again, it's what you value. So in that season, I'm valuing what I'm gonna do to make sure that my business has what it needs, even though I'm working this job. So
Mhm.
I'm going to make the adjustments in areas that I don't value as much.
Mhm.
Right. So I'm going to make those adjustments so that I can have this money going here. But you really have to sit down and look at where is my money going now, so
Mhm.
you understand what to cut. Because a lot of things, like I said, a lot of times our money is going to things that we don't need to pay for that. We don't even like it. We don't even watch cable that much.
Come on, man.
Or we don't
No.
even, you know what I'm saying? We're paying for X, Y, Z, and we don't
We
need
ain't
it.
even using it.
We don't need it. We don't
Mhm.
even use it.
Mhm. Mhm.
So whether that be a vehicle, whether that be a car, whether that be, you got a
streaming
5-bedroom
service.
house, but you only
Come
need
on.
3 bedrooms.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Whatever
Whether
it is.
it's
Mhm.
whatever it is, however way you need to make the adjustments
Mhm.
during that season of frugality so you can get further along in where you want to go, then you make those, trust yourself
Yes.
to make those adjustments.
Yes.
Trust God that He
Yes.
sees what you're doing and He knows your need and He's going to meet your every
Yeah.
need. And then trust the process.
Yes.
Trust that is like Willa just said, it's only for a season and you're going to
Yeah.
get on the other side of it. But we have to have that mindset shift. We have to know that in our heart and then know that we're doing again what's uniquely required of us, of you.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Listen, I know I done kept y'all way over y'all time, and this conversation is real good. That's why it's gonna be multiple parts. And just stop here. We can
It's
just
good to us too, believe me.
We're
listen,
passionate. We'll talk about this all
Love
day.
sharing. Yeah, truly.
and I love it though. It's what if somebody had to ask me, what are the key foundational things that you've had to do or would recommend, at the top of it is changing the way I think.
Mhm.
Changing the way I think about any and everything, spiritually and naturally.
Yeah. It's part of, you know, when you think about like the overall process, the first step is evaluating where you are. So when you evaluate where you are, that's going to make you think about your mindset, and it's going to help you see, well, am I actually walking in my stored identity? Am I actually embracing it? And then and how about, but have you also stopped to envision what the future look like? Like what does that look like for you? Have you dreamt with God? Have you written down a dream that God has for you? Do you follow what I'm saying? Like, write it down. What is it? What does that look like?
Yeah.
But then, do you actually have a cash flow plan that aligns your money up with that value, with what you value and what you're dreaming about?
Come on now.
Build the foundation to make that happen.
Come on now. We hear it, write the vision and make it plain.
Right.
Yeah.
And we do that. Like, you create the outline, we write it down, we're praying it back to God, we're believing it. Now, what are the action steps?
What's the action? How you gonna align that cash flow with that budget, spending plan, whatever you want to call it, that makes you feel good about how you gonna manage your money.
Right.
But then also, how are you gonna multiply it? Like you said, I don't buy nothing that ain't appreciating. So yeah, what are you gonna do to multiply it? Like what is God, how is he showing you to do that?
Yeah.
And granted, the fundamentals, the basics, we got you all day on that. And we can teach you how to invest. We can teach you how to get out of debt. We can show you, we can strategize. We can do all of that. And anything else that God has you calling you to do, we can connect you with people. If he's saying, I'm really led to do property, okay, well, let us show you how, coach you, and make sure that you are being accountable to doing that. Or I just want to do, I'm gonna be an entrepreneur. Okay, well, let's do that. Or I'm gonna, whatever. However, there are many ways for you to build the wealth and for you to get appreciable assets. So do that. And then after or while you're doing that, then you also have to think about, what is your legacy? What is the impact and the influence that you're going to leave this world? How are you going to make sure that all that you work for is going to actually get to the people that you wanted to get to, and bless the people, bless the organizations? What is your footprint? How are you going to be, my husband and I, we refer to ourselves as super seed sowers. We like to sow seeds into other businesses, things, people. How are you going to use your generosity? Like Willa said earlier, it's not about amassing all of this wealth
for yourself,
for ourselves. It's to advance the kingdom work. So what is my assignment in order to be able to do that? Yes, you're going to give your tithes and your offerings, but God is going to call you to do something else too, because he knows that you have abundance in your storehouse because you've done what he asked you to do. So now when he tells you, sow it over here, you're able to do it.
You're ready, and you can do it.
Do it with joy.
With joy.
I'm a cheerful giver.
Cheerful.
A cheerful giver for sure.
So we talked about the spiritual, but I also wanted to bring a little bit of the practical. So you can see how it goes together.
It's a balance. We have to. We have to. When Joseph interpreted the dream of the 7 years of lack and the 7 years of plenty, it was work required.
That's right.
It was work required on his part. And Pharaoh was smart enough to know that if he could interpret it, he needed to be in charge of it.
Yep.
And it wasn't just the storing it and saving it. It was how it was going to be distributed between Egypt and the people of the earth that was coming in. We're going to talk about that. Because
I love the story of Joseph. And when you say that, it makes me think about how not only did he go through the things he went through to become Pharaoh's manager, when his no matter his polo brothers threw him away, he was there to help them during the time of famine. Not judgmental, not angry, but just so happy to be able to do it.
To be able to do it.
building up the kingdom, one of us at a time.
Come on.
That's what he was doing, and we have to learn to do that too. So yeah,
He raised
love
him
it.
up to
Yeah.
be a deliverer of his people, literally.
And he walked through his life every challenge at a time.
Yes.
We won't go through all his challenges,
Come on.
Potiphar's wife, prison. We won't go through none of all of that,
Come on.
but he did it.
He
And
did.
he didn't say, "Woe is me, Lord, why you did?"
Mm.
No, he didn't say that.
Mm-mm.
He kept before him the vision that God had gave him, that dream.
Yeah.
He kept it before him. I know, LaQuita, you can have us on here. We'd be on here all day.
I know, right? Because
All right.
I ain't even
All
gonna
right.
say what just came to my mind just then. Y'all look, we've had a beautiful time
Yes.
on LaQuita's Toolbox today. This episode is so jam-packed with just so many rich nuggets, so many amazing tools, spiritual and natural tools that will help you change your mindset, which will then in turn give you different responses to the things that are happening in your life, which will
Yes.
give you, in the end, the things that you desire. But it's a process, and you got to do the work, and the work start with you. That's what I've been getting from Willa and Weslia this whole time. The work starts with you. God has given every man according to his ability.
Yes, he
Yeah.
has.
Now, come into an alignment with that. Do what God says do, spiritually and naturally. Be disciplined in all that you do. Become a great steward so that whatever your hands touch multiply.
Yeah.
You're going to come to the end that you want to have. And the principles are real simple. Let them help you execute these principles. Because, look, we talked about the podcast, how they can connect with you guys on the podcast. How else would you like them to connect with you? Like, leave them contact information.
Oh, for sure. If go to our website, www.mytfcoach.com. If you go to the website, you'll be able to download the steward identity pathway. So everything that we talked about, you'll be able to download that pathway, which is a guide that's going to lead you through all the steps, all the 7 steps. Download that guide, walk through those steps, start surrendering. Just go through the process. You'll see it. You'll receive emails that help you not only journal, but also just some practical tools that you can use. So go to our website. The website is Trinity Financial Coaching, which is the name of our company. Although our podcast is Wealth and Wisdom Together, and that's www.mytfcoach.com. And you will see a button that says Start Here.
Yes.
Start there. And you can go to and download that steward identity pathway, and that's where you can start.
Awesome.
That's it.
Y'all get out to the website. Click Start Here. Download the information that you need. Stay connected through the podcast. Stay connected through their email, their newsletters, everything that they have. Continue to look for them again on LaQuita's Toolbox, as well as our live broadcast, because we're going to keep bringing them back because they got a lot of great things to share. Look, y'all.
They can also follow us on Facebook and Instagram at Wealth and Wisdom Together. At Wealth Wisdom Together. One word, at Wealth Wisdom Together. And there we are with more gems.
Come on. Follow them. Facebook, IG.
Yeah.
Go ahead and hit that follow button, y'all. Y'all don't want to miss anything they putting out. You don't want to miss anything they putting out. Look, it's been real good to me. I know it's been good to you. Listen, beautiful people. Until next time, I am your host, LaQuita Monley. You guys be blessed, 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 and have an amazing rest of the day. Take care.